We can hear you.
Okay. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Olatunji, and you're welcome to another edition of Go Italia or Italia Study Visa Webinar 2023, powered by Go Italia and Nigerian Scholars in Italy, NiSIT. And we're so excited about this opportunity to follow you through this journey. We are so excited about this opportunity. It's a very great fit that you've taken, and we are cheering you on. It's a great one for us also to contribute to your story. And while we're excited about this, it's a move to a country that has so many opportunities as a student, so many funding opportunities to come study, so many opportunities for mobility to move within Europe and outside Europe as an exchange student. And also, the interesting thing is you're being paid to study. And we have a lot of seasoned speakers that have been prepared to pour their all in this room tonight so that you can have a great success story with the visa application. We have a list of items to be talked about. Can you see my screen, please? Let me just be sure. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yes. So we have the we have the visa application section where we'll talk about the proof of accommodation, flight reservation, and how to fill the form, navigating the TLS website. And then we go on break and we come back for one of the most important, not actually everything is important. This where people have so many challenges is so we will talk about this also, and also how to respond to rejection notice. You don't have to be scared about this, okay? We are not a negative energy people. Anyways, and then the regional scholarship. As I said earlier, Italy has a lot of opportunities in the form of departmental funding, faculty funding, Erasmus exchange program, traineeship also, and the regional scholarship, which everybody gets if you present the right documents. So anyways, we can go to the next phase of this program, which will be handled by Sheung Muritala. Sheung, are you here? Sheung Muritala, here.
I think he's here.
Okay, I'm here.
All right, then. So I'll just I'll share my screen so that you can start your presentation. And also, before we start with the presentations, I forgot to say, the way we'll do this is once we have the pre-visa section and the visa application part, we have a question and answer part here where we expect the participants, if you have questions that aligns with these two subjects, you can ask at this point. And then when we have this also, we have the Q&A section before we go to our breakout rooms for the regional scholarship. So to make it effective by following or putting questions that have to do with the subjects that have already been discussed. Thank you. Okay, I'm coming. I'm trying to share my screen here. All right, perfect. Sean, you can go.
All right, good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Please let me know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Very well. We can hear you.
Okay, so Mr. Tunji, you can go to the next slide. Welcome, everyone, and I'll be speaking about legalization, authentication, translation. So as to Yeah, okay, so I will try to be as fast as possible and also be precise. So first, for you to have your legalization done, you have to have your document authenticated and also translated. So these are two important steps, and your document must be properly translated and also properly authenticated. So I said authentication of the original documents can proceed while you are going on with the translation, because you can send the soft copy of the documents to the translator you are using while your documents are taken to Abuja, either by yourself or by sending to an agent to help you authenticate. So the document to be authenticated include your degree certificate. Please note that all these should be original copies. Your degree certificate, your transcript, and I say your transcript, electronic copy is not acceptable. It must be hand-stamped and signed. Also, the O-level, the WAEC results, and your birth certificate. Then for the birth certificate, those that are born from December 1992 upward, they are to get MPC certificate, not the one from the hospital, not any other one. Is the one issued by MPC. So you can visit the state MPC office in your state and get it. But for those born before December 1992, you can get a sworn affidavit of age declaration at the High Court. Then after getting that, you take it to MPC and they issue you attestation of birth. And note that when you go for your birth declaration of birth affidavit at the High Court, go with your passport and that of your declarant. And your declarant should either be your father or your mother or your sibling that is at least 10 years older than you are. And I said you should also go with a passport photograph of yourself and the person that will be declaring the age, because you can't declare for yourself. That is the standard. So it's either your mother or your father, and know that the person declaring that should also bear the same surname as you are. So if you say this person is your father or your mother or your elder brother or sister, definitely the person should have the same surname as you do have. So go with the passport and ensure that the passport is stamped. I mean, one will be placed on the left, one will be placed on the right. So yours and the other person, and make sure that they stamp on both at the court, and High Court is preferable. Also, any other affidavits that you have, you also have to authenticate at Abuja. So maybe you have a deed of gift that you did, or any sworn affidavit. For example, I said sworn affidavit of age declaration, sworn affidavit of age declarant signature. So I will explain that when I get to legalization. So if you have any other document that you swear as an affidavit, you have to also authenticate. Then a family income, you also authenticate it. But note that your family income should not get anywhere close to the embassy. So you only need it when you do it, just keep it in your box, in your travel box, and lock it there. So when you arrive in Italy, you use it for whatever purpose. So you need to authenticate it also, but you don't need to ever take it close to the embassy. So Mr. Atunji, please, you can go to the next slide. Okay, so for the educational document to be authenticated, they are to be authenticated at both ministries of education and foreign affairs. But other documents which are not educational documents, you only have other documents are to be authenticated only at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So pardon me. So the educational documents, I mean your WAEC, your degree certificate, your transcripts, they are to be authenticated at both ministries, education and foreign affairs. But those other affidavits and all only at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So only those that are related to your academics, your WAEC, your certificate and transcripts have to be authenticated at both ministries. Then ensure you make a photocopy of all those documents that you are sending. Either you are going by yourself or you are sending to an agent. Ensure that you make a photocopy, because they have to authenticate both the original and the photocopies. And for your WAEC, this is very important. Your WAEC, you have to make a photocopy of both the front and the back, and make sure that they authenticate both copies of the front and the back that you sent. If you go by yourself, if you send to an agent, ensure you tell the person to authenticate the photocopies of your WAEC front and back, not just the front. It's the front and the back of your WAEC. Then you can also go to Abuja by yourself to authenticate, or you send to an agent. But please make sure you get your remitter printout and your hand-signed receipt at both ministries. So the embassy staff might ask you for the receipt, or might not ask you. So you don't want to put yourself in it, because the embassy, there is no place, there is no I forgot or I don't know. So you have to ensure that all your documents are intact and you are ready to present any document that you asked. So ensure you get the receipt that is hand-signed. And also the WAEC, very important. The photocopies must be authenticated. Likewise, other documents, the original, the photocopy. So the next slide, Mr. Tunji. Now we go to translation. So like I said, you can scan your document and send to the translator while your authentication is going on at Abuja Speed. It does not stop it. So it's only for you to send a soft copy to whoever you are sending to for translation. So if you are using Abuja as your embassy where you are going to legalize, you have to use only Grange Services or ISA. So those are the two that I recognize. But if it is Lagos, if you are using Lagos, you can either use any of those two people services or any other person or any other translator. But for Abuja, it's only those two people that I recognize, those two translators. And also send your document on time. Because, for example, if the embassy gives you an appointment in the next 2 weeks, you don't want to miss your appointment. So ensure that you send your document on time to the translator, because some of them will tell you 2 weeks or 3 weeks for them to be able to finish the translation. Then ensure to get the translated document at least 2 or 3 days before your legalization appointment date. Why did I say this? Is for you to be sure that you are checked properly for mistakes. And trust me, there is virtually no translation that is error-free. I don't know, I'm not sure. So you have to, as much as possible, check it properly, especially your name, the spellings, your date of birth, your WAEC, your certificate, your transcript, the codes that they write on them, front and back, the digits, the alphabet, because the embassy staff will try as much as possible to look at it almost like singly, even your grades, your course codes, and maybe you score 48 in this course, they should not write 52. Ensure that the grades that you have for each course is what is written. Ensure that your name is properly spelled. Ensure your name is properly arranged. Ensure your date of birth is correct as on your passport. Ensure your grades are correct. Ensure any name you have in your affidavit, everything tallies in the translation. Because any single error spotted, they are going to send you out. And getting another appointment date is not easy. Yes, you can get it, of course. You have a timeline maybe to resume, or for those going for regional scholarship, you have a timeline to resume and complete everything. So ensure you get it 2 days or 3 days before, so that you can check to see if there's any error and they can correct it. Not getting it a day before, you might not be able to check properly, or that morning, you're just going there to pick it up and you're going to the embassy. So you might miss some things. So check properly, very, very well, all the digits, or the alphabet, your names, date of birth. Okay, so Mr. Attorney, let's go. So now let's go to legalization. So I missed out something here. First of all, you have to go with your own passport. That's your international passport. That's the means of identification. You have to go with it. That's the original copy, because that's how they're going to identify to know that you are the person that booked the appointment. So you have to send an email to the embassy, either the Abuja or the Lagos embassy. You have to send an email seeking an appointment. Maybe you say, my name is this passport number, this. I'm admitted, and so university, I want to legalize my documents. So we introduce yourself and all. And then please try to print out the appointment email where they stated your name and the dates of your appointment. Why did I say this? Sometimes they miss out some people's name. So the security man at the gate will tell you to go and print it. And for example, myself, I have to go and print a page 1,000 naira. So maybe now that there is first capital, or maybe I'm going to print for 2,000 naira a page. So ensure you go with the printout. So should they miss out your name, you don't need to panic. Just give them, they will even ask you to go and print the email. So, but if you have it already, they will take it, go inside and confirm, and then allow you to enter. But if they don't miss out your name, they will look at the list. If your name is there, look at your passport, and they allow you to enter. Then if you are, if you were born in Southwest or South, the South, and you schooled in the South, you are to legalize in Lagos, that's for sure. If you were born in the North and also schooled in the North, you are to legalize at Abuja. But if you were born in South and schooled in the North, or born in the North and schooled in the South, please try to confirm from the embassy whether you are to legalize in Lagos or Abuja. That's I'm not so sure about, and I've tried to ask other scholars too. So you have to confirm from them to know either is Lagos or Abuja. Then when you get that confirmation, or when you get the confirmation, then you send them in for the appointment. Then do not send 2 mails or 3 mails. If you send a mail, let me say you use so at gmail.com and you try to use another email and they see the names, they're going to send you a warning that they will buy you or something. Yeah. Some people have gotten the mail, something like that. So wait and be patient. They can take some days, they can take 1 week before they give you a date for appointment, but just be patient. Don't, send multiple mails. Then go with all on your day of appointment. On your day of appointment, go with all your documents that you have authenticated and translated, and the originals and the photocopy that you have translated and authenticated. You go with them, and your passport, international passports, you also go with it. Then please
Sean, please, you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yes,
So
yes.
where did you hear me last? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I
we
should go with all the legalized appointment. That is very good.
Okay, so go with all the, yes, thank you, all the authenticated and translated documents, the originals and the photocopies that were authenticated, everything that you took to Abuja and you got back, and the translated documents. Then I said the income documents you have to authenticate at Abuja, fine, but never to take it to the embassy for anything. Keep it in your box, keep it in your bag anywhere, not near the embassy. Then for your legalization, if you are someone that used a sworn affidavit for your age and NPC attestation, you have to go with an ID card of that person that you said, either your mother or your father or your elder sister or brother that is at least 10 years older. And the surname should be the same, please, not to create stress for yourself. So you have to go with the ID card of the person, either the international passports or another ID card that have signature. So that's the very important thing. So for example, driver's license or any other ID card that has signature. But in the absence of that, you can use the person's NIN slip. But if you're using the person's NIN slip, like I stated, the person have to do an affidavit to swear that this is my signature. For example, I myself, I personally use my mom's NIN slip, and she had to go to the court. We went together. She said, "Oh, this is my signature," and she signed and authenticated at Abuja. So lucky the lady didn't even want to collect it. She was saying international passport or any other card. I was trying to tell her that, oh, my mom doesn't have international, she's old and this and that and that. So God just touched her and she accepted to collect the affidavit and the NIN slip. But if the person has an international passport or any other ID card that has signature, that's the best to avoid any issue. Please. All right, thank you. The next slide. So for your legalization, also download your enrollment summary from your University portal. So the enrollment summary will allow you to legalize your educational documents free. But if you don't go with your enrollment summary, that means you have to pay for both your educational document, that's your WAEC, your transcript, your certificates, and also pay for other affidavits and all. But if you have the enrollment summary, you won't pay for all those ones. You only pay for other affidavits or birth certificates, any other document that you're legalizing. So if your university has not confirmed your pre-enrollment, try to write to them to remind them. Then go with cash. It's only cash that's accepted for payment on that day. So no card, is only cash. And also request for DOV. The DOV is very important. When you arrive at your university, they're going to ask you for it. So if the staff asks you, do you want DOV? Tell him or her yes. And if he or she does not ask you, also state it. Say that, oh, please, I want DOV. So that when you go back to pick your documents, you also get your DOV with it. And they will give you a receipt. Ensure that you keep that receipt properly, because that will be your document or your pass for you to be able to enter. Usually, they will tell you to come back the Friday of that same week. If you go, for example, on Monday or Wednesday or Tuesday, they'll tell you to come back on Friday to collect. So that receipt is what you present at the gate for you to have or gain entrance into the embassy. So please don't lose that receipt that is given to you. And what else? I think I've said everything on the slide. Mr. Toyin, is there any other slide? Okay, if there's an error in the arrangement of your name.
Can you just wrap up in the next 1 minute?
Okay. If there's an arrangement in your name, for example, or your name was abbreviated on your WAEC, ensure that you don't go with the WAEC if you're going for MSc. But if you're going for BSc, you can, or you must go with the WAEC actually, because that's the certificate or the academic documentation. But if you are going for MSc and there's an error on your WAEC, of course you have to authenticate, but don't take it along. But then if it's an error in any other document, say your birth certificate, you can get another birth certificate and then you'll be in line. Ensure your name is arranged as you have on your international passport. But that is not about your degree certificate, because some schools put your name, your surname last. That one does not affect anything. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Shim. And very quickly, we'll just go to the next. As I said earlier, if you have questions, just pen them down. And then at the right time, we can ask the questions. So very quickly, we'll go to the next presentation from Adeni Bakare. And I'm going to share the screen right away. So Adeni Bakare, we're talking about the Chemia Universali.it enrollment.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, we can hear you.
Please, can you share the slides?
Yes, I'm doing that right away. Wait, please. Can you see my screen?
No.
Okay, I'm coming. Yes, I'm coming. Can you see some moments, please? All right, okay. Should come up in. See it now?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Simi. I'll be representing Adeni. I'll be talking about the CHEME and the University. Next slide, Olatunji. this is going to be the focus for today. What is CHIME, why CHIME, and the significance of CHIME. Okay, the next slide, Sunji. Okay, CHIME is done by the Italian government. It is an equivalent of the WES, as we all know, which is used in the US. It is used for the conversion of your documents into like an Italian degree. For those whose school requests for it, you have to pay about 150 euros, and you have to wait within 30 days for it or more, depending on the applications they have on their decks. And if you want your documents to be fast-tracked to get the statement of compatibility and all, you need to pay extra fee for it to be fast-tracked, and you upload on their site. The next slide, please. So this is why CHIME. It's used for academic, non-academic, and professional recognition. It is used for the state-funded, private, AFAM, where we have the music, the film, dance, and etc. Next slide, Sunji. This is the amount I said, and this is the site. How the interface looks like. And please note, by the mid of July, CHIME is going to go on break. So in case you know or your school has requested for CHIME, I advise you to process it very fast before the summer, so you don't get stuck. Next slide, please. And these are some of the explanations you could also find on the site. Next slide. And these are the interface, and this is the documentation you are going to be giving, the statement of comparability. If your document is equivalent to the Italian degree, you are going to be issued. And if it's not, you're not going to be issued. And they are going to compare the educational, whatever, the courses and all other stuff seen on your educational documents. Next slide, please. Now we'll be going to the university. The university is a requirement. So it's just like a central data system, also controlled by the Ministry of Education in Italy. It is used for the applicants' personal biodata, academic biodata, code fiscale, university application information, and identity documents. The university is the site that you have to apply for your pre-enrollment for after admission or before admission, depending on what your school requires. And when you apply on the university, please make sure that in the name, in where you have the place of your name, the nome, please always write your first and your middle name. It has to be together because Italians don't have middle name. Next slide, please. This is the importance of university because it helps the Italian government to track visa and consular correspondence, pre-enrollment, admission verification, and approval. And the system is really linked with university, the embassy, and your school to even when your visa is approved, the school knows. The next slide. Thank you for your attention. Domande e risposte.
Thank you so much, Similolo. Thank you so much. Yeah, just to add to what she said, before everybody start thinking they need to do CHIME for their university, try to confirm if you need to have the CHIME done for your school before you jump on that investment of time and finance. So we will move today. So everything we talked about earlier, that's the pre-visa actions, And we'll move to the next screen, which is the, please, can you mute Manuel Erickson? Can you just mute yourself, please? Thank you. All right, and then we'll move to the visa application part itself, where we have people that will be speaking from the MSc point of view, the BSc point of view, and then the PhD point of view, on how to navigate through the form, how to fill the form, what to fill, and what not to fill. Anyway, but before we do that, we have the proof of accommodation first, and flight reservation by Similolo. So Simi, you can have control and share your screen. Thank you.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Similolua Taiwo. I'm an MSc student of the Department of Industrial Engineering, University of Salerno. And I'll be talking about flight reservation, medical insurance, and accommodation reservation. For the flight itinerary, as it's called, this is required at a visa process requirements, in which you need to show to the embassy that you know where you are going to, and you have to book when, probably the week of resumption, on when you want to go, and you have to book a round trip, in which it has to be in summer, like July. So these are the sites in which you can book a flight itinerary: Wakana, Ethiopian Airline, Expedia, Wigo.com, Skyscanner, TravelStats, and Booking.com. On Wakana, if you want to book the flight, you need to use the app, the application, to book the flight reservation, communicating via a bot, in which you have to do like a night previous to your visa submission. This is the flights booking on Ethiopian Airline. So this is like an interface. So you book for a round trip. So you choose maybe September 25th of this year, and your return date should be in July. You need to show the embassy that you are not running away, in quotes, you are not absconding from your country. You need to still show dedication that you are going to come back, and you know where you are going to. So for example, because I am schooling in Salerno, you can see Lagos, Nigeria, Napoli, Naples, and one passenger. And if you like, you can use economy or business. So this is the interface. You choose this, you choose your flights, you fill your details, and you'll be sent like a confirmation letter via email. And make sure you fill your email appropriately. And for Ethiopian Airline, you could, there's always, when you get to the payment side, there's always an option for you to pay later. So you pay later, and kindly note that when you are choosing your flight reservation, you should also choose a very cheap flight, because if you are choosing a flight of 1 million naira and you have 4 million naira or 3 million naira, it is going to be deducted from your proof of fund. And the proof of accommodation, the embassy recognizes these forms of proof of accommodation as evidence of places to stay, like hotel booking, accommodation from school for scholarship recipients, or reservation, or an invitation from a host with copy of his passport and other documentation, called the Ospitalia Italiana, as proof that he's going to sponsor you, is responsible for your stay. It can be your uncle, your family friend. And also note, whoever you are choosing as your host should also not be far from school. You cannot have a host that you are saying you want to stay with in, for example, in Rome, and your school is in Salerno. It's really not feasible. These are places that you could book for like accommodation For accommodation reservation, I would slightly recommend booking.com. You could use other sites, but in booking.com, there's a flexibility of you not paying, or maybe paying days you arrive and other things. And for Airbnb, I would advise that when you get your visa, for example, if you are 5 coming, you could stay in an Airbnb maybe for 2 weeks before you get yourself sorted, so the cost to be easier. And when you are booking on booking.com, you should also make sure that wherever you are booking should be close to your university, and you should try to look for a cheap one, because you cannot go and book an accommodation of for 2 weeks for maybe 1 million naira or 900,000 naira. Is going to be deducted from your 3 million too. So plus your flights, that is 2 million, 1 million left for proof of fund. So you also know the translation of that. We also have Plus Hostel in Florence. It's usually cheap. You stay with people, it's like an hostel, AO Hostel, Hostel World, regional scholarship accommodation, immobiliary.com, all this. And you could also reach out to the student association to put you through that you are arriving so time and you want accommodation to be sourced for you. They should help you. So I'll be moving to medical insurance. The medical insurance is a document for you to get a Schengen visa. It is a compulsory requirement for you to get visa. As at 2023, last month, it has been updated that you must have 33,300 USD for medical insurance in case of any medical urgency. And these are some of the lists of the Nigerian insurance companies that you can do your medical insurance. For me, I did mine with AXA Mansard. I think it was around 28,000 naira. You can do it other. These are the popular ones I know that I highlighted and some of my friends used. You could also reach out to them and get within 30,000 or 35, you could get like a 1-year insurance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
And thank you so much, Semilolo. We're so grateful for that presentation. Now we can move to the next presentation, where we have 3 resource persons that will be talking about filling the form as an MSc applicant or bachelor's or PhD. So over to you, our speakers. Hello, Aida. Ramot, Felicitas, and Dolapo Aida.
I think, good evening. I think Arika is supposed to handle the first one.
Okay, Arika Aida.
I don't think she's here because she told me she's having issues with her work.
Okay, I think you can just do your own part. I will share the visa application form if it's okay by you.
Okay, no problem. I can start with it.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Here you go.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Felicitas Okwe, a PhD student at University of Pisa. Although I am going to fill this form as a PhD student, but Dolapo is going to come in as a BSc student to tell you how to fill it, because the way we fill it is very different. Okay, I'll start with here. You put your passport photograph. There is a specification for the passport for Italy visa, so you need to follow the specification. I guess sometimes they tell you to go to Studio 24 or anyone, but make sure you follow the description, specification for it. So this, first you fill with your black pen, very important. So for the first one, they ask you for your surname. You write your surname. For me, my surname is Okoye. Please fill according to your international passport, what you have. Then the second one is your surname at birth. The same thing, your surname, my name is Okoye. Then the third one is your first name. So for me, my name is Felicitas Ogochukwu. So I'm going to write it the way it is in my international passport. Then the fourth one is your date of birth, which comes with the day, the month, and the year. Please follow your international passport. Please let it be the same thing, because some of us used to have different date of birth, but let it go according to your international passport. Then your place of birth. If you check your passport, you are going to see the place of birth. Then the country of birth is Nigeria. Then current nationality, you're a Nigerian. You fill it in this particular space. Then age, the gender, you tick female or male. Then your marital status, you choose your option, single, civil partnership, divorce, any of them. Now, the path of term, in case of minors, I know this is not applicable to most of us because we are not minors, at least we are more than 18 years going for master's or PhD or BSc. But if you are a minor, please, you're going to put the name of your parents, guardians, or anybody here. The legal guardian of parental responsibility here. So you're going to go with the surname, the first name, and the address of the person. So option 11 is called type of travel document. The type of travel document all of us has is the ordinary passport. So you're going to tick this. Ordinary passport is for everyone. Then option 12 says number of travel documents, which is the number on your passport. That's your passport number. Yes, so this is where you're going to put it. Then the date of issue, please check your passport and tell us the date your passport was issued. For me, mine was 28 April 2022, then valid till April 27, 2032. So the date issued and the date to expire. Then this is Italian, issued by Nigerian government. So just write Nigeria here, 15. Then 16 is applicant's home address and email address. That is you. You write your address and you write your email address. Please try and manage the space. Then here you put your telephone number. Yeah, just one if they need to contact you. Then 17 is residence in a country other than the country of current nationality. So if you have permanent residence of any other country, you can say yes or no. So for me, I don't, so I picked no. So you can write the validity of your residence permit when it ends. Tunji? Okay, your current occupation, please write student. Everybody, please write student. But if you feel you want to put your workplace or maybe your what you do, but I'll advise you to write student to avoid problems. So most of us wrote students. I was working actually, but then I had to write student here. Then 19 said employer and employees address and telephone number. Okay, now it depends on what you write on 18. So for me, I wrote student, although I am not a student, but then I used my the address of my MSc, which is University of Ibadan. Although I have graduated, but I just put it there. But if you write, maybe you are a civil servant, so you're going to write your office address and the phone number or contact or phone number of your office. So it depends on what you choose here as your occupation. So that is what will determine what you write on number 18. Okay, 20. So now it asks main purposes of the journey. So why are you going? So we're going for study, you click the study. Then your destination in Italy, very important. So where are you going to in Italy? For me, I was going to Pisa. So if you are going to Naples, if you are going where your school is, that is what you're going to put here. So they ask for Schengen state of first entry. So for us, our first entry is Italy. So this is where you're going to write. You're going to write Italy. That is where you're going first. The number of entries, please put multiple entries. The idea is, for instance, you can come into Italy with your visa, and if the visa is still valid, you can go back to Nigeria and come back again anytime you want. So as long as the visa is valid. So, but please, when the visa expires, I don't know, you cannot go out of Italy and then come in again. So this is the meaning of these multiple entries. You can go and come back with the visa given to you. So number of days of intended stay, please just fill 365. Just fill it 365. Don't worry if they are giving you, if you have 2 years to do your master's or 3 years to do your PhD. So just put 365. It's general for everybody. So intended date of arrival in Schengen area. Now, please pay attention to this 25, because what you put here determines what will be stamped on your visa. So if you put, for me, I submitted for at least, I went into like 2 weeks before the date of my arrival. That was when I went for appointment. So I gave them just 2 weeks to give me an answer. So my dates, make sure that your date of arrival will give the embassy time to decide on your visa application. So if not, it will enter and then your date of arrival is going to be exceeded or expired. So make sure your appointment date and the date of arrival. I know then we used to have 90 days for decisions to be taken for our visa, but now I think they've extended it, I don't know. So make sure that you consider the time the embassy will decide on your visa and then the date you want to leave from Nigeria to Italy. So be careful when you are filling this part. Surname and name of the person in Italy who applied for family. So now you are going to leave this part because most of you did not do for family reunification. For adoption, religious reason. So leave this part. Address and email of person who applied for, you leave this part, you leave this part. Number 27, name and host company or organization. Here you fill the name of your university. Yes, the name and address of your university. So for a PhD student here, I think, okay, sorry, yes, just the name of your university here. For me, I put my department directly, like the name of my department. Yeah, I put my department and then my university. So they will know directly who they're going to contact. So now the telephone and fax number of the company or organizations. Now for this part, you can check your school website, then put a number here for maybe for international students or your dean or anybody from your school, then put the number here. But for PhD students, please, you put your supervisor's number here. Very important, the person that is going to supervise you. So you put the person's phone number here. For me, I put my supervisor's phone number. So surname, first name, address, telephone, fax of contact person in company or organization. So you put the name of anybody in your school. Most times people put the international officers here or their head of department. But for a PhD student, I would advise you put your supervisor, because for me, my supervisor was in contact with the embassy to make sure they grant me the visa immediately. Then the cost of traveling and living during applicant stay is covered by, sorry, this part I'm going to give the floor to Dolapo to please continue, because my case is different, but let me just give a general view. I'll stop here, then Dolapo, please, you can continue. For PhD students, because most of us are on scholarship, so we don't pick this part because first we pick the applicant. Why we are picking the applicant, that is me, is because we have to show that we have money to travel. That's just for us to show that we have the money to travel to Italy. So we're going to put applicants, then we show our card, means of support for ourselves. We show money, credit card, that we have the money to travel. And here, we talk about a sponsor. This is where we talk about our scholarship, because most of the PhD students are on scholarship. So now you specify the name of the scholarship, that the organization that gave the scholarship, so you just write it here. So for me, it was just my personal money to travel, just like 1 million naira or less. That was just what was our proof of fund. Then the organization that is sponsoring us, we wrote the name, and then we attached a letter to show the amount we are paid every month. So I think for BSc and MSc, another person will come and handle this 28, because it's very important, especially for the proof of fund. Just go down. I think the lab will come in to handle just 28. Then 29, personal data of family member. So if you have anybody in EU, you write the person's surname, first name, date of birth, nationality, the person's travel document. But if you don't have, please keep this number 29. It's not important. The same thing with 30. If you have any family relation, you fill it. But if you don't, please keep. Then 31, place and date. So for me, I submitted at Abuja. So I did my stuff at Abuja. So I wrote Abuja, and the date I submitted, yes, was 3rd of May 2022. So then I signed here. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, solicitors. Dolapo, can we have you?
Yeah, 28. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Dolapo, and I am presently doing my bachelor's degree in University of Macerata here in Italy. And basically, she has talked about almost everything on the form, and we are only left with 28. If you're going for BSc and you need to fill 28, that is the cost of traveling and living during the applicant's stay in Italy. For BSc, we advise you use a sponsor. If you're going for BSc, then if you're going for BSc, you tick a sponsor with a black pen. You just have to mark it. You pick a sponsor, and the means of support, you tick cash. And where you tick a sponsor, as you can see, there is a line under it. Under that line, it is advised to write the full name of your sponsor. If it's your dad, you can write your dad's full name. If it's your mom, you write your mom's full name, and into brackets, you can write father, mother, sister, brother, or anything. Okay, and okay, if you're going for MSc, you can sponsor yourself. That is, you can choose the applicant for MSc, or you could be sponsored by a sponsor. You can choose a sponsor. But basically for BSc, we advise mostly for people to use sponsor. So yes, she has explained basically everything about the form. And another thing I'd like to say about filling this form is, while you are applying for a date on the TLS website, there is a form you can print out from the TLS website while filling for your appointment date. This particular form is not what the TLS agent is going to take from you. This particular form is the one you're going to submit at TLS. So it is advised you fill this form with a black pen first at home before going to the TLS office, so you won't be in a rush while filling it to avoid mistakes. Another thing is the intended date of arrival on this form should always tally with your flight itinerary. You can't say you want to arrive in Italy on your form on the 30th of August and your flight itinerary is saying on the 25th of August. So whatsoever you're feeling, whatsoever date you have to fill on this form, it has to tally with your insurance and your flight itinerary, and most especially your accommodation too. Your flight itinerary, your insurance, and your accommodation should tally with your intended date of arrival in Italy. So I think basically this is all about the form. Thank you very much.
Hello, can I ask something?
Oh, yes, sure. Sure.
No, this is not the time for questions. Sorry.
Just that
Okay,
it's very important.
Yes, you can, please. Thank you. Ask your question.
Okay, like you made mention of master's students applying through as an applicant on the cost of traveling. You actually not mention like the next thing to take as a means of support, like cash, or that's the question I want to ask.
Okay, you can choose cash. Yes, cash. Since basically you'll be using your money and also basically you can just choose cash.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
No,
you're welcome.
for instance, because you're submitting your bank account because you don't have the money on your hand, and then you're going to pick just credit cards. Yes. So most times you just pick your credit card, which shows that you have money in your bank.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much.
So sorry, I don't know whether you can show the TLS website so we can show them how to book appointment, because that space was for Arike to do. Please, is it possible?
Hello, Habib. Are you ready for that?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. So yeah, before the TLS, let me just talk a little bit about this 28 for the masters, right? Okay. Tunji, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So you want me to talk about 28 for masters before Felicitas will talk about the TLS website, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay. So so for masters, like Dolakwa said, you can sponsor yourself or have a sponsor. And it's advisable that your sponsor is a close family member. It's also possible for another person that is not your family to be your sponsor, but you must be ready to provide enough evidence as to the reason why this person wants to sponsor you, So for this 28, if you are sponsoring yourself, then that means you tick this, the applicant, right? And then you can take cash and maybe others. If you have maybe other means to support yourself, so you can try to like list them out in this space, in the space that you have under other. And if you're sponsoring yourself, you mark this a sponsor. No, if you're sponsoring yourself, that's the applicant. Then if you have a sponsor, maybe your dad, your mom, your uncle, or someone else, or maybe a company wants to sponsor you, then you click on the sponsor and you can write the name of the person here. And then in brackets, like in front of the name, then you can put like the relationship between you and the person, maybe father, mother, uncle, or employer, or something like that. And if you have other things that you want to use to support yourself, you can also click other and try to write like what you think should be like if the person is not an applicant or a sponsor. Take for example now, but usually it's either you mark the sponsor or the applicant. So for these others, if you just have maybe an additional information, you can click there. And the means of support. So you can click cash. Maybe if someone is providing you with hospitality, you click provided accommodation. Then usually if you have only one sponsor, you can click this, all expenses are covered during the stay. And yeah, maybe some other, like you can click other and try to explain other supporting documents, like maybe you have a deed of gift or something else. Yeah, so basically for the other parts of the form, yeah, the same for bachelor's, master's, or PhD. Right. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Habib. When Hayomide comes on with his presentation, which we so much anticipate for the proof of fund, is going to do justice also on your supporting documents for proof of fund. So over to you, Felicitas. Thank you.
Okay, I think you should help me with the, like, open the TLS site because I don't have it.
Okay, give me one moment. One moment.
I hope I can do justice to this because Arike.
Okay, just a moment and we'll start. Can you see my screen?
See, yes.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Okay, first you have to, please, I am sorry, I will need other people's help. If I make mistake here, please help me because my school did all this for me, so I don't have any idea. So sorry, I just have to replace Arike. So please begin by selecting the country where you're applying from. So we're picking Nigeria. Yeah, so you pick the country, which is Nigeria, and then you submit. Okay, now we're picking, select your center. Is either you pick Abuja or Lagos, Victoria Island. So this is not, does not depend on where you pre-enrolled, because when you are doing your pre-enrollment, they'll ask you where do you want your application to go to. You say Abuja or Lagos. So you can always change it, because for me, when I was doing the pre-enrollment, I chose Lagos because I don't know, I was just so anxious to do it. But when I realized that there was no date in Lagos and people were not rushing Abuja, so I just went to Abuja to submit my application. So irrespective of what you chose in your pre-enrollment, you can choose anywhere. So I went to Abuja, so you can choose Abuja for big boys. Okay, so please follow the rules. They have their opening hours and when they close. Please make sure you go with the time. So here they ask, sorry. So here, yes, fine. There's an application form they'll give you to fill here. I am going to tell you what happened to me, and should it happen to anyone, please don't panic. When, because I was not the one that did this application, so the person that did for me made a lot of mistakes, like my date of birth, my name, and then I think my blood pressure was very high that period. So don't worry yourself, because when you get to the TLS center, they'll give you a new form to change everything. So don't panic if you have any error here, just go ahead with your application. The idea of this is just for you to have an appointment date. So this information is just to fulfill all formality, just to get to the date section where you get your appointment date and time. So don't bother if you make mistake, but please don't make mistakes. So yes, there is this part. You have to choose the premium lounge. I don't know whether this exists, but then I noticed that it really existed for me, because I went there and I did not pay for this. But if you pay the 18,500, yes, you go to the premium lounge and then they attend to you as fast as possible. Well, I did not do this payment, but I used the premium lounge because of my type of admission. So there's also please go. Then express courier return. So in the application, there's a place they'll ask you to choose between where they're going to send you. Sorry, why did you go to create your accounts?
Okay, I'm back.
So I'm just going to explain this time. So express courier return, like if you want them to return your your passport with the response very fast, you pay for this. And then there are some that will request that they should come to the center to pick it up. So you can always go there and pick it up if you reside in a particular place you submitted. But if you don't, please, you can always apply so that they will bring it back to you to your own state. It doesn't take time. They always give you information, and all your documents, the originals, the photocopies are going to come back. The only thing that will not come back is your bank statement. Yes, I think so. And your application form, they won't come back to you, but all your originals will come back. And please check your documents. If one did not come back, please write to them and they should return it back to you. Very important. Then this prime time appointments, like if you have emergency and then you want to pick like VIP, so you can always request for this and then they give you an appointment date without looking at the dates themselves. So this was the one I did, but I did not pay for it, sorry. So we can go for the start my application. Thank you. So here you're going to create your account. Yes, so you write a valid email address. Please, when I say valid, this is where they will send everything back to you. So if you make mistake here, they will not send it to you. So you confirm your email, then enter a password and you create.
Okay, let's try another one.
Mm-hmm.
This one should go.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No, we are not. Continue. No, no, no for everything. So you don't need all these things. Yes. Okay. You continue. No, wait. Okay.
So a link has been
So-
sent, which I will activate.
So this is where they'll send the activation code to you, to your email address. So right now he's trying to activate the code they sent to his email and to log in back again to continue with the process. So here you start with your filling of form. So this is where I was telling you that if you made mistakes. So now this is your reference number. So because he chose Abuja to submit his stuff, so this is where Abuja TLS Center, that is where it is. Then you create your application. So there's a form here to fill. So here you're going to write your surname. Okay, fine. You're going to choose your visa. We have the short stay, which is not for us. Then the long stay is for those going for BSc, Masters, and PhDs. Now we pick the study visa. So now for the next one is, okay, I think there was someone that asked us which one to choose, whether university or study. What's the difference? I'll address it here. I think there is no much difference. The only difference we used to see here is one is with the idea is that just use any of them and then get a date. You might get different prices, but when you get to TLS Center, they'll request for normal price from everybody. Yes, so that's just the idea. So pick any of them and then get a date that is suitable for you. But I think most times the study visa is always having more dates than the university visa. So your personal information, you're going to write your surname. Then the first name, please fill all your names on your passport. Then your date of birth, current nationality, which is Nigeria. Then type of travel document, the ordinary passport. Then travel document number, that means your international passport number. Then the date it was issued, the expiry date. Then the next one is who issued it, which is Nigeria. Then current occupation status is student. Then marital status, single, married, divorced, then your phone number. So now travel information, you're going to talk about your main destination. So where you're going to Italy, then date of arrival, the date on your flight ticket, this is what you're going to put there. And also, like Dolapo said, your travel date, your insurance date, when it's starting. It might not be the same time when it's starting, but make sure your insurance, you have an insurance when you're traveling. Like there's a date. Okay, let me say you want to travel on the 1st, and then your insurance started on the 3rd. That is not good. So it is either your insurance started before you travel or the date that you're traveling. So most times it's advisable to do 1 year insurance or 6 months just for your travel. Then when you come to Italy, you get your normal health insurance. So express delivery service. Do you require passport? Okay, now this is where I was talking about, like, if you need your passport to deliver back to you, please make request on the time you submit your application, you submit your appointment. So if you need to come back to you, you tell them, but if you're coming to pick it up at the TLS center, you also tick there. So there is a different fee for this services. Then passport return address. So where do you want it to be returned to? So you write your house number, the street, the city, and the postcode. So that's
All right, thank you very much, solicitors. We are actually behind schedule.
sorry.
We have just to tell people that are not yet on Go Italia WhatsApp group and also on the Telegram page. These slides will be shared on the page, and also if you need assistance with filling the form, feel free to reach out to any of the admins later on. If you're not on the WhatsApp group, I would implore Habib to please share the link to the WhatsApp group so that people can join, and also the link to the Telegram page. So without much ado, we should go on break now, a 5-minute break, so that we can stretch a little and come back in the next 5 minutes as we go to the next and the last sprint. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we are ready for this next phase and the next sprint. Yeah, this is supposed to be taken by Ayomide Salako. If you're on, please let us know. Ayomide Salako, are you on? All right, so we can just do this while waiting if Ayomide is going to be able to join. I will invite Mr. Habib Adiago, Dr. Habib. All right, to start with this, going with your A game in your proof of funds. This is a very, very important part in your visa application. And yeah, so Habib, let's have you.
Yeah. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure, you can.
Okay. Okay, just a moment. Okay. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Very well.
Okay. So thank you for.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Thank you for staying with us all this while. So the next item is to talk about the most important part of the visa application, right? So the visa application has like you have to submit a lot of documents. So I'll first start by trying to like list out some of the important documents that you need to submit for a visa. And then we'll now go back to talk about how you can prove that you have enough funds to study in Italy and how to calculate how much you need if you have partial scholarship, full scholarship, and if you don't have any scholarship at all, right? Who can be your sponsor? Can you sponsor yourself, or it must be a family member or someone else? So we'll talk about all those. So because I'm filling in for someone, so sorry I don't have a slide, so I'll just go with the documents that most of us are already familiar with, right? So the first thing that you need to do when you want to start your visa application is to like, you must have done your legalization, all the visa steps, right? So the first is you need to book an appointment on CLS website, which has been explained earlier, right? And then you need to gather all the documents that you need to submit when you go to TLS. So your first set of documents will be the documents that you legalized, right? And your DOV or your CHIMA. And then you need an international passport. So you would want to have like 1 year on your passport, like it must be valid for, like they say 6 months, but it's advisable that you have 1 year or more validity on your passport. Then if you have old passports, sometimes you might have to take them also with you to the submission center. And if you have a lost passport, you can get like a police report or is it court affidavit to show that you lost your previous passport, something like that. Because during my own submission, I actually, like the collection officer actually asked me for my old passport. I didn't have it. So he didn't listen to me. He just said, okay, go back and bring your old passport. Even if you have lost it, there must be an evidence or like a police extract that shows you lost it. So it's advisable that you go with that if you have a lost old passport. Then you will need passport photograph of Schengen visa size. So you can get this around TLS, they know the size, or you can get it in all these popular photo studios like Studio 24 and so on, right? You also need travel insurance. For the travel insurance, we already talked about that. So you can get it from any of these travel insurance companies, and it could be like the minimum validity of your travel insurance should be like 3 months. And because like 3 months, there are 3 months insurance, 6 months, 9 months, and I think 12 months, which is a year. And the price is not that really different. So some people just go for the 1 year so that maybe they can use it later. And then you need flight reservation and also proof of accommodation, which someone has talked about. And then to the big deal, which is the proof of finance, or we call it proof of funds. So we are going to talk extensively about this, me and Tunji. And then let's just keep that, we'll come back to it. And then if you're under 18, it's advisable. Under 18, maybe you're going for undergrad, right? So it's advisable that you submit like a consent letter from your parents. It shows like, even if they are your sponsor, they should still write a signed consent letter, right? And also for your visa application, you also need like some universities, most universities will charge you something they call tax on tuition, or they call it tuition deposit. It's always something less than 200 euros. So if you pay that, that will be very good for you to also show that you are committed to the university and you've already made some financial commitments and you're going to that university, right? And yeah, there's also a letter that we call a letter of intent or a letter of explanation. So you can tell a story because you are not there to explain yourself. It's not like maybe US visa now that you'll be there and they will ask you questions and you answer immediately. Your documents will answer for you. So you can write an explanation letter that tells a story why you want to study in Italy and what each document represents, how they connect, right? So you can write an explanation letter. And also maybe in your explanation letter, so you can write that you have gone through all the process by yourself. So some people will go as far as attaching email correspondence between them and the university. All the email correspondence, you can print them out and also put them as part of your visa application document. Like you may have a lot of documents, they will still collect it from you at TLS. And also to tell your story, you can right, you can put a very good CV also in your application. That shows your educational history, your work experience, and they know that maybe you want to progress and get a master's in order to move to the next step. And you can put some letters to also to support your application. Like if you currently work, you can have a leave letter or your employment letter to support. We'll still talk about this letter. And you can also have a self-introduction letter. That one is just a short letter to tell the embassy who you are, why you are going to Italy, how you will get to Italy, and the kind of accommodation that you have provided, maybe temporary accommodation or permanent accommodation, where temporary where you stay till you get your permanent accommodation, or if you already have a permanent accommodation, or if you want to stay with someone, so you can put that in your introduction letter. So now let's go back to the proof of finance. In Italy, the universities are very cheap, right? But the Ministry of Education and the Italian government, they have calculated how much you will need as living expenses per month. And I think they pegged it at around maybe like 540 euros per month. I'm not that sure of the figure, but if you add everything together, like all your living expenses is going to like 6,000 euros, right? In a year, 6,000 euros. So if you're going for bachelor's, right, you have 3 years. They do bachelor's for 3 years in Italy. So that means you multiply that 6,000 euros by 3, and you must try to provide the proof that you'll be able to take care of yourself for that 3 years. If you're going for master's degree, which is regularly 2 years, you need to provide 6,000 multiplied by 2, like 12,000 euros. You have to, right? And if you're going for PhD, most PhD positions are funded, so you don't need to worry about that. So first, I'll talk about the simple one, which is scholarship. When you have a scholarship, right, most scholarship will cover your tuition and maybe will give you some accommodation and some stipends, right? So if you have a scholarship, I can say that your visa is kind of not 100% guaranteed, because you have to still apply for visa, but you have high chance of getting a visa when you have a scholarship. But if you have a scholarship, you still need to provide a bank statement that shows enough money for your flights if your scholarship is not covering your flights. So for scholarship holders, they don't really check your account balance. So you can provide any amount you want. I've seen someone who have provided like just 200,000 naira balance, but the person has a scholarship. So for scholarship holders, they don't have any problem. You just provide as much as you can. You don't need to worry about the balance. But if you don't have a scholarship, then you need to play your game very well, and you need to gather all the documents that shows that you have enough funds and you have a sustainable means of income to support the funds that you're showing, right? So some of the documents that you need to show for your proof of finance is that you need a 6-month bank statement. You need a 6-month bank statement. And for this bank statement, to the best of my knowledge, they always check your balance and they check the inflow and outflow. So take, for example, now, you're planning to apply for your visa in, let's say, August now. Starting from like March or April, you should have started like building up the account that you want to use so that you have good inflow, outflow. It's not like 1 week to your visa application, you just send in like 10 million naira. Yeah, it's possible for you to do that. So if you want to do that, there's another thing to do. You can explain the reason why 10 million naira has entered your account during your visa application week, right? And there are different ways to do that. Maybe you can tell a story that you sold the property or you got a loan from somewhere. So you have to also provide documents to support all these explanations. So you need a 6-month bank statement. And then one thing is that some people submit fake bank statements, right? And this is very, very, very crazy because Italian embassy, they don't joke with bank statements or any other documents. once they can prove that you have submitted a fake document, you know that for your visa application, you are submitting all original documents and your passport and everything. They will just handle all your documents to the fraud unit of Nigerian police, and they will send you an email that they will send you. They have a format how they send it, that they detected that you submit some fraudulent documents, so you can go to so address to get your passport and all your other documents. If you put that address on Google, you will see that the address is fraud unit of the Nigerian police, right? So ensure that you don't submit any fake bank statement. So in order to prove that your bank statement is not fake, you should get a letter of introduction of the account owner from the bank. So it's just a simple letter to write that, okay, this person actually owns an account with us, and it's signed by the 2 officers in the bank, right? So if you are not sponsoring yourself, if you are using a sponsor, maybe your uncle or your aunt or someone else, maybe your mentor or anyone, the person should write a sponsorship letter for you, right? The person should write a sponsorship letter for you that is signed by the person, right? If the person owns a company, for example, they can write it on their company letterhead. If you don't own a company, it doesn't matter. You can actually just write it on a plain paper, but it must be signed by the person, right? Now, there are different ways now. You don't just submit a bank statement and think that's all, right? You have to, if it is you or your sponsor, like if you're using yourself as, if you're doing self-sponsorship, you must also be able to provide evidence to the embassy. Let me say, evidence of where you got your money from. It could be from work, business, or maybe other type of jobs, like let's say work, like normal in-office work, or it could be business, maybe you own a business, or it could be like a remote job, like freelancing and so on. So you have to also provide evidence that you work. Or if someone is sponsoring you, then this business or work or remote job documents for your sponsor, you also have to provide them, because they need something to hold that, okay, this person has enough money now, and they call that point sustainable means of income. And he also has enough money to keep supporting himself, right? So take, for example, now you own a business. So you must be able to provide your company registration, your company tax documents, the page that shows that you own your company, right? A corporate account that shows that you have been doing business legally. So a corporate account is needed. And also any other documentations that you feel will help you explain your business well. Take, for example, now, maybe I'm a dealer in Coca-Cola now, and I've been supplying a lot of people. I can provide a document that shows I supply this number of retailers, for example, or this number of,
for cutting in.
Right? For you to just support. Then if you work, you should be able to submit letters like your appointment letter, your pay slip for that job, and also you want to leave the job, for example, maybe you are telling a story that you want to come back and take a higher position in that job. So you should be able to submit like a leave letter that shows you're going away and you would come back to assume a higher position, for example, right? That's for job. Then if you are doing something like an online or freelance jobs, for those ones, maybe if you're doing it on Upwork or somewhere else, you can submit your profile on Upwork, your customers' reviews, your like there's a page that summarizes how much you have earned from that job. Like all those things, you should be able to provide them in order to support your proof of funds. If you're using a sponsor, right? If you're using a sponsor, maybe your uncle, your mentor, someone that's been sponsoring you that is not even related to you, you should be able to provide these documentations as well. The person will give you a sponsorship letter and also a proof of his work, business, or other things that he's doing that would show that he has enough money now and he will keep having enough money to keep supporting you while you're studying. So now, if you are not sponsoring yourself as a master's, as an undergraduate student, now let me start from there. Usually undergrads are like 18 years old, 19 years old, they don't have any job, they just finished high school, right? So it's advisable that maybe one of their parents sponsor them. So for those ones, they don't have any problem. Their parents will just submit enough bank statement that can cover the whole 3 years. It's always advisable to have enough for your whole length of study, right? And they need to submit like a consent letter if they are less than 18, a sponsorship letter, and then evidence of work or business, as I explained earlier, right? And if
sorry, Habib,
yeah,
can you round up like in the next 2 minutes?
yeah, sure. So if it is a master's now, right? If you're using someone else as your sponsor, the person gives you a sponsorship letter and also evidence of their work or business, right? So you also need to, if the person is not your family, you also need to provide evidence of why the person is sponsoring you. So if the person is like a long distance family now, you can submit something like a family tree that shows how the person is related to you and an affidavit that supports his relationship to you. So you can make an affidavit to show his relationship to you. And if the person is not your family member, you need to think about a way to provide an evidence why the person is sponsoring you. Now, other documents that you can use to show that you have enough funds are like property documents, maybe land documents, house documents. These documents are very sensitive. So even at TLS, they might not take the original from you, but they need to cite the original of this document. So they will cite the original and then they will take the photocopies from you. And people do other things like take loans, do deed of gifts, and so on. So I think I've touched most of the, okay, another important thing is you need to also submit the ID card of your sponsor if you're not sponsoring yourself. The valid ID card of your sponsor is very important. So I think I've touched most of the things that we have to talk about. And you can also show proof of investment. Like, I think I've seen someone who deals in Bitcoin and has provided evidence of his business because he's doing it legally, right? So you can submit a proof of investment that shows you keep making money even while you are in Italy. So during the question and answer period, I know each person, they have like unique or different stories to tell about what they are thinking about, how to prove their fund, right? So during the question and answer session, we can treat each case as they come, and then maybe we'll have a better understanding. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much, interestingly, Ayomide is him, and he will probably speak extensively about this during the Q&A part later, so that we won't take further time of people that have to make other presentation. And trust me, he's going to do justice to it. We will look at the peculiarities with each person. And just to add to what Habib said, I will just show something now. I'll show you something on the screen. And the truth is, one wonderful thing about this application is it's all about consistency in how well you can tell your story. You know, the fact that this person followed this path doesn't mean that you have to follow this path also. So there are so many ways to get to a destination. I'm trying to share something, but well, while preparing to get that later, we can have Joseph, Mr. Joseph, for his presentation. And this has to do with responding to pre-rejection notice. Are you there?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Can you do this in some? All right, you can go. Thank you. Mr. Joseph.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, my fellow scholars here in Italy. I think to be presenting pre-rejection notice or letter. I hope everyone can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. Yeah. I know that kind of feeling when you have sat down to arrange your document, and at the end of the day, you filing your or giving your application, and you were anticipating and hoping to get a visa, in an email that your visa is successful. Out of the blue, you see a pre-rejection notice. It can be devastating. There are some persons who their shock absorber might get busted. There are some persons who cannot actually, wield it or shield it. So first of all, to continue, I would want to use this wise saying. When such situation comes up to you, you don't have to run away. Like Natalia Comaneci said, I don't run away from a challenge because I'm afraid. Instead, I run towards it because the only way to escape fear is to trample it beneath your foot. There are possible reasons for pre-rejection notice, which could be a list of them, like past or current criminal actions, probable relations. Some of them can actually lead to rejection as well. But the pre-rejection notice, we have to differentiate between the pre-rejection notice and rejection. Pre-rejection, you have also an ample of time or opportunity to address your situation before the final verdict is being given to you. While the rejection notice, you don't have you don't have opportunity before the final verdict to present or to amend but you could actually reapply. That is for rejection. But for pre-rejection, you could actually gather your documents, find out your loopholes, what you did and what you didn't do, or what could actually be the possible reasons for them not having the clarity of your document or the link between some document which you presented. So when you're able to submit again and justify the reasons and give them clarity, you could actually have your visa. And one good thing which I have to say is when you are you're giving your application, try to make enough photocopy, hard copy for your archive, so that if peradventure you happen to fall a victim of pre-rejection notice, you could actually know and trace what could actually be the possible reasons, what you did wrong or what you didn't get right, or where they could actually anticipate this, where you could actually anticipate this is, or in case someone who wants to help you, assist you to reply the pre-rejection notice, the person could have a proper view of and pinpoint where this could actually be, where you went wrong or not. Just like a police officer trying to trace a case, work on his case, he has a dashboard where he picks the points and links some corporate and the other or events and cases. So it is very, very important. Outside the number of copies which you have to submit or being required of you, have extra copies for your archive. Now, possible reasons for pre-rejection notice, I've listed few of them. past or current criminal actions, insufficient explanation for the purpose and circumstances of the planned stay, lacking to present convincing proof of accommodation, invalid travel insurance, unacceptable or non-corresponding birth or marriage certificates, insufficient means of subsistence, invalid letter of reference, insufficient proof of travel itinerary, passport invalidity, damaged passport, insufficient explanation for the purpose and circumstances of the planned stay, false travel document. I will take this one after the other, and I will be snappy and brief about it. Now, you should never view your challenges as a disadvantage. Instead, it's important for you to understand that your experience facing and overcoming adversity is actually one of your biggest advantages. This is a quote which I really admire by Michelle Obama. First, the first travel document, trying to misrepresent your identity or using a fake identity. I think Habib has mentioned something about this. You need to be conscious. In as much as we are treating or talking about pre-rejection notice, these reasons could also lead to rejection as well. So they work hand in hand. Insufficient explanation for the purpose and circumstances of the planned stay. Failing to present an employment or professional qualification that matches with the presented financial situation. In this case, you see some persons, they falsify document. And when you see an official document, you know there are some criteria or some things that you see the format which it takes a look at, which you look at and you find out that this is an official document. You don't need a CSAR to tell you this is an official document and this is not. There are some things you need to look out. There are letterhead, there are reference numbers, there are all these things. There are documents that are stamped or signed. If you have the possibility to stamp and sign, fine. But these are little things that people tend to neglect. Incapacity to provide document that supports the purpose of travel and stay in the Schengen area. There are some persons who feel that, okay, they are doing themselves favor, or I don't know if it could be overconfidence or ignorance. I don't know what to say about it, but when you know that these are documents, you need to also make your research. You need to find out what are the requirements, what do I need for this document, for this application, and you arrange it in order. And you need to provide, like they said, I don't know, they've made a hint about the proof for sustenance and the rest of it. So someone else will also talk about the POF. But that document you need to support, all your documents, you need to provide document that supports your proof of your travel and stay in Schengen area, ranging from accommodation, ranging for financial capacity and sustenance, and the rest of it. The admission letter, scholarship letter, document if you have one. Then the next, okay, let me round it up. I think I have few, the damaged passport. Damaged passport, people don't really know about this. I think some persons might be surprised or astonished because they least expect that this could actually lead to pre-rejection. When your passport is not kept in good condition. I could remember when we were in primary school, I submitted a document that was rough handled and the headmistress rejected the application for the gifted children because of that. So you need to keep your document in good condition. It's very, very important and vital. There are some persons who don't joke with neatness. So I guess the consulate is also part of this organization. So Damage, you need to keep your document in good condition. Passport pages that are detaching or missing, insufficient blank pages could actually be, or when the cover page of your passport is washed out and it cannot be differentiated between Nigeria and Niger. Maybe the IA must have washed out or is no longer appearing. So that passport could be assumed that you are from Niger. So these things, blood things, you need to check on that. Passport invalidity. If your passport is
Joseph,
less than, pardon?
Thank you. You have 2 minutes more.
Okay, so if your passport is less than 6 months, you need to reapply and get a new passport. I would advise you go for, if you have the opportunity to apply for 10 years, better for you. Then also, if the passport photograph is not of the required document, the required dimension or size for visa application, it could also lead to pre-rejection. They will give you an opportunity to prove yourself or to make amendments. Insufficient proof of travel itinerary. You have to, I think Similolua must have delivered the presentation on travel itinerary, booking your flights. This has to be in correspondence with the date upon your arrival in Italy or in the Schengen area, and the destination. You can't just have a destination where you are going to, let's say you're going to Napoli or the Campania region, and you're having your flight far more distance to that airport that is not close to your place, or where you have your accommodation is you are schooling at Bologna and you are booking accommodation at Florence. So this could actually give you a pre-rejection for you to have to correct it. So the same thing, and clarity of book flights. Your flight ticket is not really clear. They don't know where you are going to, what is the connection between where you said you are going to. So this could also lead to pre-rejection. Invalid letter of reference. I've talked about that in the previous one also. And insufficient means of subsistence. You need to show that you have the capacity, or your sponsor have the capacity to sponsor you for the duration of stay, at least for 1 year. And your application date should not be for your bank statement of account. I think someone will talk about that in POF. And for the account statement, you need to have good transaction history, which should also be talked about in the POF. Then, in terms of traveler's check, if someone is trying to issue a check, for those who present a check, you find out that there are some checks that are left blank, they don't sign it, and the person is not affiliated or does not have a link to the candidate's name or applicant's name. So it could also lead to pre-rejection. They want you to give you a second chance. I think that's another synonymous word to this pre-rejection notice, a second chance to address your errors. Unacceptable or non-corresponding birth or marriage certificates. For those who are married, for those who are single, this might not be a concern to you now, but it could be in future when you get married also, or you have someone who you're going to guide. So not having the proper endorsement by official authorities, and not having properly translated, or you could not having a suitable recognized one or recognized one as well. So invalid travel insurance. I think someone talked about travel insurance. So they have the
please.
Pardon?
Can you round off, please?
Okay. So lacking to present a convincing proof of accommodation. I think That's good also. So thank you very much. And I think that addresses all. Have a nice day.
All right, thank you so much, Joseph. Can you stop sharing your screen? Thank you. So right now, we will still have the Q&A. I can see that we have quite a lot of questions on the chat, which everything will be addressed. And I crave your indulgence to please permit us to have an extension, an extra time, both the speakers and participants. The plan was to finish this we were supposed to finish now. It's supposed to run for 2 hours. But anyways, I crave your indulgence that we have some more time to do this. So right now we'll go to our breakout rooms. And you can join a breakout room depending on the region where your school belongs to. What we're doing in the breakout room, I think most time when it comes to resumption time, it depends on the school has a specific time you have to resume. However, they're quite flexible. If you have some situation that will not make you resume at that time, you can always rather send an email or interact with the international desk. We can talk about this before. Yeah, we can talk about this also later. But most importantly, conversation and dialoguing with the international desk or the person, advisor or whoever is responsible for international students in your department is very important. These guys are quite flexible to present your case to them.
Yeah.
I believe everyone from the breakout rooms are here.
Can we start the Q&A because we're already 30 minutes?
Yeah, sure. We are doing that now. We actually want AY to do some things on the proof of fund to add to what Abib has said earlier, as is the one responsible for the session before we go to our Q&A. So Ayomide, are you here for us?
Yeah, so I was thinking that it's going to, it's a bit of feedback. I'm not sure what that's from, but it's a bit of feedback, but it's not changing.
I'm trying to look for the person, I think Elliot. Let me just mute.
Okay, so I was thinking that in the Q&A, questions that people ask around proof of funds, I'll be able to, whatever it is that Abib missed, Abib did not maybe cover.
That makes sense then. That makes sense. All right, so now we have Q&A. The floor is open for everybody. Thank you.
Good evening.
Sorry, can we do this? Can you indicate if you have a question, just raise your hand and then we'll take the queue. So Mohammed, please, you can go. Mohammed.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
Good evening. Thank you for sharing all the information with us and clearing things for us. We really appreciate you guys. First of all, I used to have a passport that my name arrangement was not correct on it. I had 2 surnames on it. So in order for me to correct the name, it had to be destroyed by the immigration office, Nigerian Immigration Services. And as someone said earlier, I think I can't remember her name. She was mentioning about passports that I need to include it as part of my requirements for visa application. And she mentioned that I will have to include my former passport as well. So in this case, I really don't have it, but I have a scanned copy of the data page. I don't know if I can print that out and then, maybe authenticate it at Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or how do I go about it, please?
Okay, I think I talked about the passport. So it's not every time that they ask for your old passport. So you don't know if they would ask for it or not. So that's why you just have to prepare. But if your new passport does not have, there is a section on the passport that says previous passport number. If there's nothing there, they like if it is not linked with your old passport, then you don't have to worry. You just state it like that's your first passport. But if it has it, then you can just prepare for like the worst case. In that case, maybe they will ask. So maybe you can declare it missing or something, you know.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Sorry,
If
Mr. Abid, Mr. Abid, if his question
sorry.
was that the immigration destroyed it, and then he can state that it was retrieved by the immigration and it was destroyed due to
That's also the reason. Yeah.
Okay, that would be in my letter of explanation, or
No, you just tell the collection officer that asks you.
okay, okay.
Or yeah, I think
Okay.
now.
So sorry, one more question. I'm planning to use my uncle who I share same, I do not share same surname with. He's my maternal uncle. He shares the same surname with my mother. And then I'm planning to use both of them for proof of funds. Is it possible, is it advisable to add his passport and my mother's passport along with the documents I will be submitting? And then the other documents you mentioned, like the letter of sponsorship and the likes.
Okay, I'll probably answer that. So can you use multiple for funds? Yes. Can you use multiple sponsors? Yes. For every sponsor you're using, in my opinion, you have to attach individual documentation. And in the sponsorship letter that a sponsor is providing for you, they have to you have to indicate what, especially in the case where you don't bear the same surname, you have to indicate clearly the relationship that exists between both of you, and they have to state categorically that they'll be, catering to financial responsibilities for your duration of study. So yes, it's a nice backing to have multiple. It's a nice backing to have multiple sponsors, and for every sponsor you have to use individual documentation. So yes, that's just a very straightforward answer to your question.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Can we have Glory Damilola? Glory Damilola. Okay, let's just move to Esther Sonoiki.
Hello?
All right.
Hello,
Okay,
good evening. Can you hear me? Okay. So I want to know the exact Nigerian amount for proof of fund. I don't know if 6.1 or 7 million will be enough. Then our D scholar, do you have any Nigerian who is currently holding the Italian government scholarship?
Sorry, to answer your question, the first question, I think you need to use the official exchange rate as at the time you are submitting your visa application.
All right.
So if it's 600, 630 for the official rates, that's what you multiply and provide.
Okay. I'm seeing different euro amounts. I'm seeing for the one of last year on the embassy site, I have 6,500. I'm seeing another one on the Telegram group for 7,500 euros. So which one should we go with?
I think according to the publication that was shared on the Telegram group, you could search for, I think the name of the document is Circulare 2023. I think that is the official rates, and I think it's around 6,000 and something euros. So you just multiply it by whatever CBN is offering.
Okay. All right, thank you.
So let me also say to you that I understand the rave around the bulkiness of your banks, but it's not as important as cash outflow, right? So if somebody with let's say 6 million or a 7 million bank account, it can be rejected based on even the size of their bank account, where somebody with maybe a 3 million bank account goes through. if your bank account is showing a lump sum, unexplainable lump sum, so the explanation is not in documentation you filed, you have more chances of running into hiccups in your application process as compared to somebody who has a bank account that shows sustainable cash flow. So by sustainable cash flow, I mean that this person's bank account is showing that money is getting into this account and it's leaving. And it has been doing that maybe for the past 3 to 6 months, 1 year. So that actually in order of precedence that takes more that's more important to be sure of than the bulkiness of your bank account. I just wanted to add that.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ayo. Glory, I think justice has been done to your question. You asked something about the Italian government scholarship, right?
Yes, but before we go there, please, on the bank statements, can I join two? Can I use 2 different bank statements? Maybe First Bank and Zenith Bank.
Is it for the same sponsor?
No, for me, yeah, for same name, yes.
Are you the sponsor or it's your?
I don't know. Sponsor myself, self-sponsored.
I really don't know, but during my time, I used 2 account statements of my sponsor, like 2 different banks. So I think it's possible because I also did the same thing.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Question on the government scholarship. Can we just have that quickly?
What question do you have on Italian government scholarship?
Okay. I want to know if it is applicable for Nigerians because from what I have searched, what I have seen, I haven't come across this info on the consular website for Lagos, for Abuja. And then I have searched, I haven't seen any Nigeria being awarded this scholarship. So I want to know, is there any Nigerian currently or in the past who has won this? And if you can connect me with this person, I may have 1 or 2 questions just for clarity's sake.
Okay, so the Nigerians can apply for the Italian government scholarship. And every year we've seen at least 1 person from Nigeria got the scholarship. They actually award the scholarship for 3 to 4 Nigerians in a year. So, but I think since 2020, I've known at least 1 person who got it. So, yeah, but because we have only few people who got the scholarship, so we only connect people who have been invited for the interview because there's an interview stage. So if you need information to prepare for your interview, then we can link you up with the scholar. But without your interview invitation, might not have any help we can render. So just go on the website and apply. We've shared the link many times in the group, in the WhatsApp group and the Telegram group. So when you get your interview invitation, then you can contact the admins of the group for maybe a scholar to help you prepare for your interview and for other information you might need. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
My question
Thank
now.
you so much. Yeah, Esther, yeah, you can.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking our time to do this session with us. I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so earlier, when the session was on, and I can't remember the name of the lady, but she talked about insurance, medical insurance, or travel insurance, sorry. And she mentioned something about $3,000. I didn't quite understand what she was trying to say because I've tried it before doing the travel insurance, and what I did was just the regular 6 months, 1 year travel insurance. So I was trying to understand what she said when she said 3,000 something US dollars insurance. So can you or can she clarify that, please?
Okay. I'm sorry. I wasn't clear enough, and I really can't. I wanted to share my own insurance, whatever, but I seem not to find it. They are not saying you should have 33,000 dollars. It's just that I think it's around 28,000 or 30,000 naira. But the insurance guys, they really know how to do it. They are just saying that the worth of the insurance you are going to be doing should be of that cost, and really people really don't use it. So I don't know if I answered your question.
Okay, yes, you did. Thank you very much. I have another question. It's about filling the visa application form. So, for example, myself, I obviously am applying as a student, but I have a job. So, if I fill in student on the application form and I intend to apply as a self-sponsor, and in applying as a self-sponsor, I intend to submit my employment documents and all. So I feel like if I fill student in my visa application form, won't it be contradicting if I eventually submit my employment document as well? I'm trying to understand how to do that, because when the lady was speaking, the PhD student, she said she filled in her university as an address and she filled in as a student. So if I want to like fill in my own case, I'm obviously a student applying as a student, but I have a job and I intend to submit my employment documents in my visa application process. You understand? So I'm just trying to know how best to fill the form in my case.
Okay, I think I'm going to, because that is addressed to me.
Yes, please.
Okay, fine. See, we're just giving you example. Like the idea is do something you can always defend at any point in time. So I gave you an instance of what I did. I was actually working, but then I put students and the university because I don't want anybody to start, because I don't know whether they're going to call my company, where I work and start asking stupid questions. So I just decided to just put students and avoid anything. But meanwhile, I did not submit anything related to my employment. So do what suits you best. So if you feel you want to submit if you want to write your occupation and then the address and you have a contact from your office, fine. So it depends on you. But for me, I put students and also put my former university because all those things are not being checked. I don't know.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, can I ask question?
Tunji, can you unmute
Yeah,
yourself?
sure, you can. Sorry. Yes, you can ask question. Thank you.
Okay. My question is
Okay, sorry, please hold on, please. Can we have where is it first? Thank you.
I said my question goes this way, like, can I use my sister's salary account as a proof of funds?
Is that all?
Look,
Is that all? Yes, can you hear you loud and clear?
Yeah,
is that
I
just
said,
the question?
yeah, that's the question. And like, can
Yeah.
I use a
Yes.
proof of fund? And what type of documents could I support it from her own end?
Documents you'd use for, so can you use your sister's statement? And yes, you can. Our letter of sponsorship that also confirms the established link between both of you. So if it's biological sister, that's fine, right? Then letter of identification, which in this case, I'm not sure if there's anything that's been added, but it's just letter of sponsorship. The bank statement, then a copy, let's say a colored or a printed copy of their passport. So I don't know if there's any other document I missed, but yeah, you can. But you should also know that I'm not a visa officer, but I know that a couple of these guys, if they know that you're using somebody's proof of funds, they would always want to be sure that it's factored into the balance, something that can cater for that person and cater for you. So if you're using somebody's proof of funds and it's like glaring that it's not even enough to cater for them that owns that proof of funds, then you know it just compounds problem for you. So if there is sufficient balance, sufficient cash inflow and outflow, cash flow, then I don't see the problem. I would also yes, that's to answer your question. Something came to mind for the previous person that asked the question, that the self-sponsored lady that's conflicted whether to use a student's application tick or a working tick. If you are self-sponsored and you'll be presenting your documentation as an applicant, I would suggest if currently you're already anticipating complications, you just want to remove that complication, right? You don't want to have conflicting data point on your application process. So it's better that you apply as an employed person. That is, so as long as there is sufficient evidence that can trace back to your place of employment, your employment letter, all of that, you have all of that ready, then I don't think you should be providing a conflicting base on your application process. You're submitting letter of you're submitting your employment details and you're saying you're a student. It's a bit conflicted. You want to remove that. So yeah, I just thought to add to that, then to answer your question, the question of
Hello, please. I have a question.
Sorry, they'll get to you just to be sure that is satisfied with the answer.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for I appreciate.
Okay. And to add to what AY said, if you go to the TLS website, on the list of documents you need, they have everything listed on the website, actually. All right, so we go with Ogundiran. Please, can we have a question each 2 minutes, 1 minute, 50 seconds, or thereabouts? Yeah.
How much is MSc? Proof of fund for MSc.
Ogundiran, please.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, the session has already been going well. So I have a question. My question goes thus. It's about the proof of funds majorly. What in a situation, probably someone works with a firm, like probably your earnings is not that something weighed up, but you have other side business you are doing. It's not as if you have a CSC for the business, but maybe like freelancing job, other things you engage in that brings money. And coupled to that, the account has enough cash inflow, like even within the 6 months, it's very sufficient. In what way can someone put that, or is there any much implication to that? And then second question. The second question I want to ask is about the sponsors and all. I think major thing that I've gotten from the sponsor is that you have to be able to prove that you are related or something. Is there like is it a must that to be a legal document? Probably someone has been sponsoring you and the person is not a family member or anything, that is just a normal person. Is it compulsory? Like, how do you, in that situation, how do you prove it that this person is actually related and is not like an agent or something? Thank you.
Right. I'd like to answer that because the first question is actually is actually a route that I applied, right? So when I made my application, then I had a salary account. I had businesses that I was running, and I actually used to trade crypto and financial assets actively. So what I did, I have a general notion. Whatever is worth doing at all, you have to do it properly. So I registered the CSC. I did not have a registered company. I don't know how much you used to, maybe 6,500, or I think it's less than 10,000. You used to register a business. If you have to register a business, you want to make your application properly. Sorry, you want to make your application properly detailed. So register. It's not an inconvenience, but you can. So I registered a business, and the business had my name. It had my name as the director. It had, it just provided that backing that I have a functional company that is responsible for these funds. So yes, I know that you can use multiple, even if as an individual, you can use multiple bank accounts with sufficient balance, but it has its own backing. So if you want to give, just to give your application credibility, if you have to, just register the business. That's one. Then the second one, can you use a third party? Like, why are people going for familial relationship application? It's because it's easier, it's less complicated. Is it that people with third party where you don't share the same surname don't get through? No, that's not true. But you just want to make it easier, the better. So if you are using a third party that you don't have any kind of relationship with, I'd suggest that you, in your documentation, you have to state categorically what type of person. Is that person an employer? Is that person a friend? When we went for the breakout session, somebody said he was getting the backing from an House of Rep member. Like, that's credibility. Just the sponsorship, the sponsor letter has to just state in what capacity is that person sponsoring you. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes. Thank you very much. And on that proof of funds, like the first question you answered, I have like, what if someone has like a CAC and is not as if, and you haven't been paying tax with that company or something? Is there a way? Because I have like a company that is registered that is like a group of company, a construction firm. So most money that comes into my account, the company that registered did not actually have an account, but most of the runnings of maybe I got a job, it still comes. But that particular company that have a CAC, it has my name on it as part of the director. And can I incorporate that into it, even though it's not that linked to my own bank account?
Yeah, I got a question. So if it's a tax issue, you are a tax worry, right? So I know that the tax, you have to reconfirm what the tax policy is, but I don't know if it's whether for a year. If you have a business and it's been operational for a year, I don't think you pay tax on that business for. I don't know if it's 6 months or a year. So if your business has not exceeded what that duration is, yes, you can use that sufficiently. You can use that as an application for credibility, just to apply. Maybe it has, just to be on the safe side. It costs, I mean, like me personally, I would rather not risk applying, like just taking a risk and saying they may check, they may not check. If I know that it's something I'm thinking of now, I'll just be on the safe side and just open on that business to provide credibility to my application. But if your company is still within the grace period where the tax exemption grace period, then yes, of course, by all means, please use that.
All right, thank you so much, Hiwa. You know what? Can we do this? If your question has not been answered, I have a question. Oh, okay. Normally we are supposed to end like in the next 1 minute, but I will allow us to span 5 minutes more, and then we will have a dialing session where myself and some other few people will probably be available on Saturdays just for 1 hour every day. I'll share the link on WhatsApp so that you can ask other questions that won't be attended to. So in the next 5 minutes, we are going to close this room. And if your question has not been answered, please feel free to dial in on weekends. Thank you. So please ask your question.
Sorry, can I type my question or ask it now? I actually have an interview by Thursday, so I won't be able to wait till Saturday. Sorry.
I have a question.
Let me have,
please,
and then I have Paul, Ubaka, and then I have Paul. Ubaka, can you hear me? Okay, please, Paul, go on.
Thank you so much. So I've actually not gained the admission, but I've written a test at University degli Studi di Milano. It's in Lombardia region. So I want to ask a question about the scholarship. Let me gain admission first. So I'll be having interview regarding my core knowledge and application for the master's program.
So, sorry, is your question about the interview you have?
Yes. So my question is that what is the
chat us
actual,
up. Sorry, chat us
how
up
am I?
on WhatsApp if it's about that.
Okay. How am
please,
I
I want to
planning
speak.
to
How
sponsor
much is it?
Hold on,
Do I have
Ubaka,
to
please.
mention that? Do I have to mention that I have a sponsor and I will be working also? Do you think I should mention I'll be working alongside schooling?
I mean, the interview is for your admission, so you should just stay around the interview for the admission, except they ask you about your means of funding.
So if they ask, is it polite to mention I have a sponsor and I'll be working alongside also?
Just mention that you have a sponsor.
Most likely, they won't be asked. They will just ask you questions about your field and how well you can speak English, right? So I don't think you have to worry about that. It's not a visa interview, it's for your admission.
Exactly.
Right?
Thank you so much, Habib. Yeah. So please, let us have a backup, please. Thank you. Or you can raise down you can lower your hand. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Please, I want to ask, how much is required for a master's program for 2 years? Proof of fund.
Excuse me, we've said that earlier. You could check on the Telegram group. There is a document called the Seculare 2023. It is written there. It has the information of proof of funds that you need every month and for the year. And as Habib have said, whatever you see on the documents, I think is written 6,045 per year. So if you are going for a master's, multiply it by 2 years. Thank you very much.
And again, I have another question in the regional documents. Who is going to be the deponent? Because I'm married, who is going to be the deponent? Is it me or somebody else or my brother? Just please clarify.
It depends on you. Anybody can be the deponent.
In the affidavit.
This could be you.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're married, right, you're talking about the income documents, right?
Yeah.
Income document, yes. Income document, yes.
Yeah, so you'll be the one to declare, like you are the declarant or the deponent. So you can choose if you have your own small family, like, so you can choose to declare income for your original family, which is like your dad, your mom, and your siblings, or you can choose to declare for your own family, like you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Habib. Any other, so we have, I'm going to count down 2 minutes. Any other question? Answer. Good evening, everybody. What's your question, please?
Good evening. Good evening. My question is about these income documents because my dad is late, but I don't have his death certificate with me. Like I don't have the death certificate. It's not even with my mom because he has 2 wives. So how do I go about? And I've told my sister that she's going to follow my mom to the court to get the income document for me. But now that my dad is late, so how do I fill that death certificate stuff?
Okay. Yeah, the universities are not particular about remembering you of your pain, so they won't be serious about you submitting your dad's death certificate. So if you don't have it, what you can do is just to do like an affidavit that states that your dad is late or something. So whenever they ask, so you authenticate that document and maybe you translate it. So whenever they ask, you can show them. They will take it or they will just tell you that, okay, don't worry.
Okay. And secondly, what I want to ask is about the Italian government scholarship. Can I have the two? Can I be a beneficiary of the Italian government scholarship and the regional scholarship?
Yes, you can apply for as many scholarships as possible. So if you happen to be offered more than one scholarship, so when you arrive in Italy, like they will either write you an email or they will sit you down and tell you if the scholarships cannot be combined. So they will tell you that which one do you want to choose? They will ask you, and they will even advise you on the best one to choose.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So,
Okay, sir.
I want to ask a question, please.
Hello. Sorry,
I
please.
go?
Ayobami, are you done? Hold on, please. Thank you.
No, I'm not done. Please, I have the last question.
What's the
Like
last
my
question? Thank you.
sponsor, I'm thinking of using 2 people for my sponsor. I'm thinking of choosing one. I have a school father from school and he's okay. He has a business, but I doubt if he's paying tax. He has been running the business for like 5 years. It's a phone business and he has money. And then I'm thinking of using my lecturer in school. He has been my referee and he has been my guardian even before I lost my dad. So I'm thinking of who can I use, because my mom she's not earning salary per month, so she can't be my sponsor. So I'm thinking of maybe using my lecturer in school or using the person I called my school father.
Okay, we might need more information
Let's
about both. We might need more information about both and then help you, maybe give you some advice. So maybe in the dial-in session, you can ask your questions. Right.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Are you on the WhatsApp group? Are you on the WhatsApp group?
I'm on the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, okay, that works then. Then it's easy for you to. I'll share the link for the dialing session this week.
Okay.
If not, so. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, can I ask a question?
What was your question?
Please, can I ask another question?
Can I go ahead?
Ubaka, no, you can't ask another question. Sorry. At least
can I go ahead?
Yeah, please, Nweke. Thank you.
Okay, I've been going through several schools in Italy, Italian universities, and I've discovered that I was able to see anyone that doesn't accept TOEFL or IEST. I'm just looking for a particular university that will just ask for an English proficiency statement from my university, not necessarily TOEFL and IEST.
Is that your question?
Yes, I need a university because I've gone through several universities. I've gone to the group, the Telegram group, and.
Are you on the WhatsApp group?
Yes, I'm on the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, please drop a question there, and then we can pick up from there.
I will personally answer that on WhatsApp.
Yeah, there was. Sorry, please hold on, please. Habib shared a PDF that talks about rural schools and their requirements some time ago, so we can look for that on the WhatsApp group. Thank you. Ubaka, please. Ubaka, if you have any other question, you can send it on the chat. We need to round up this meeting right now.
Please, Can I ask this question, please?
You should just hold on. Everybody's talking right now. So.
Yeah, I think if you have more questions, you can always join the dial-in section, or you can send your questions to the group. So this meeting was actually scheduled to hold for 2 hours, and it's gone beyond 3 hours.
3 hours.
So we have to close now. Right. Thank you.
God bless you.
If you raising your hand, you have questions, but you're not on the WhatsApp group. Kindly WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
And then put the question there. It can actually be dealt with on the WhatsApp group also, like this weekend if it's so.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you guys. Everybody
for staying with us for 3 hours, and thanks so much for all the members of the organizing committee.
Love you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank
you very
So if you want to link up with any of the speakers, you can search for their names on LinkedIn and try to connect with them and ask your question. Maybe you're going to their university, or you just want to ask one or more 2 questions about their presentation. So You can just search these names on LinkedIn and then try to connect.
Mr.
Ayo, what's your full
on WhatsApp group? What's your question?
Mr. Ayo, please, what's your full name?
Who?
I guess that's like it's there. I mean, it's Salako, but you probably not you probably not be able to connect with me on LinkedIn. I probably don't check LinkedIn messages. If you have a question, you can tag me on WhatsApp. Like I have the group pinned. Yes, kind of IO of Web3. Yeah, you'll be able to that's what it is. IO of Web3.
Okay.
Hello, please, can I ask a quick question?
Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
So let's do this. If you are done, I mean, the speakers, if you want to leave, please kindly leave, and the room will be kept open, at least for a short while, for people that can still hang around. But at the moment, I can stand up. Thank you. All right. Yeah.
So I guess no more questions. So we close.
I think someone raises
Yeah, just ask your question.
Okay.
For those that can wait.
Yeah, you can. I think few people raised their hands up for like 3 or 4.
Peter, I still have a question to ask.
Okay, my question is, I've been seeing it on group by people that are not admin. They've been saying something like microfinance bank is not allowed for bank statements. Like me, now I'm using Kuda, and then this has been my major bank. I don't know if I can use it. And my second question also is that I have a sponsor that I'll be using, which is my uncle. He has a business. At the same time, he has a job as well. So he has two different accounts for both, and both has a good inflow of money. I don't know if I can use both bank statements as a means of proof of fund. Thank you.
Okay, yes, you can use them. If you don't know if you can use both bank statement, yes, you can use both bank statement for proof of fund. Like that's like I think the questions are just variation of each other. So it's beans. One person has asked beans in form of money, another person has asked beans from Bakara. Like if you come back to the business, it's just still beans, right? So like it's just the technicality is the same. Can you use multiple sponsors? Yes. You want to put yourself in the shoes of whoever is signing off on your application, or whoever is verifying the details of your application. Can you use multiple? Yes. So what do you need to provide? You have to provide bank statement for everybody you're using. And it's easier if you get the same son. If you don't, if you have to stay in a relationship, if it's an employer, if it's a friend. There was a time, I think, in my first attempt where I did not gain admission to Napoli. Then I used the proof of fund of a friend. Right, we are friends from secondary school, and he now runs a company. And he was like, he could step in, but he was able to provide a very clear relationship on why he feels he was going to sponsor me. And it flew then. So can you use multiple? Yes, you just need to state, clear, relationship between you and your and that sponsor. So pardon me if I just give a generic response, but maybe I did not answer something you've asked, but because I was not paying full attention. But yes, you can use multiple sponsors. You just have to define what your relationship is with them in the scholarship documents you're submitting alongside their bank statement. Yes.
Yeah, I made mention of a microfinance bank that I use Kuda if it is allowed. Since some people are saying it's not allowed.
Oh yes, you can use. Why you can? Like people even use these virtual banks. Virtual banks have like it's an application process. Just as long as they can verify, they can confirm. They have their own ways for doing verification checks, right? So can you use Kuda? Yes. Can you use what is microfinance bank? Yes. Can you use these virtual banks? Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And my last question, just like you, I'm also into crypto and Web3 stuff, and you made mention of registering an account, so that to prove legitimacy of what we are doing. So I want to see like the correlation between opening uh, opening this thing and then opening a business name or getting a business name at the same time, proving that you are in Web3. Like I don't really see the correlation. I don't know the best way to go about it to show that, okay, I have a business. What's that business? I'm trading crypto or I'm into NFTs and all those things. I don't know how to, correlate both together.
Great. I get a question. I mean, like its application. See, it's just like court cases, right? So most of the time, if you are guilty of a crime, of a murder crime, and if you get a good lawyer, as long as that lawyer can defend your case, most of the time people will get free in court cases. I have people who even committed a crime, right? So you have to present the best application possible. As an individual, you can open any business. When I did mine, I opened an agricultural business, right? And in my CSC, when I registered for CSC, I identified there that the model of my business is that I get farm supplies and I supply to local farmers, right? I get them in bulk, and I supply to local farmers. That's just what it was. So in that business model already communicates that people are always requesting for farm supplies, and I'm always supplying them. So you can create any business. You don't need to tie to crypto. I don't think I've ever mentioned in any of my application that I trade crypto, I trade financial market. It's irrelevant, right? So if you have a business, the only thing is that business now has a bank account. You can now use any of your if it's sorry, excuse me, if it's crypto that you have in base. If you move your crypto to one of these centralized exchanges that you can download a virtual data for, use that as a supporting bank account. You can use a Nigerian bank account. You can move your funds temporarily. Why do you explain? You can explain that if you move your funds and there's a bulk amount, you have to explain that, oh, this bulk amount that came in is for this, right? The logic is the same. If you have a business, there has to be something that backs the business financially. In that type can be any bank document. How do you find a bank document? Is now, if you have a personal bank, you can move all of your crypto funds, then convert them to fiat temporarily. Explain the means for that, because you run a business, right? As a business owner, bulk amounts can come in. You have an investment, you liquidated for a huge supply. Just make it convincing. That's just what it is.
Thank you
Because
very
if they are
much.
not clear,
And my
most
last
of the time, you
question.
have to prepare that they will call you. Sorry, I forgot to say that. You have to prepare that they might call you to say that, oh, we saw this. How do you explain this? They might call you. You have to prepare for that. So as long as your explanation is watertight, you shouldn't have any problem. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you very much. And my last statement, or my last question, when I'm coming first.
Hi, good evening. Is it possible I go while he's thinking? While he's trying to gather his thoughts, can I ask?
Yes, please go on.
Thank you so much. Good evening. So, I'm a student, right? I'm presently finishing up my first MSc, and I've been admitted to Padova. Now, the question is, I don't have a steady flow of income. However, my father is going to be my major sponsor. But to sort of have that bulk sum that we would need for my POS, we had to sell some stuff to sort of raise that money. And so the question now is, the money currently is in my account. However, my inflow and outflow is not as high as that of my dad. So the idea is, I'm thinking of using mine and my dad's. But my question is, one of the speakers mentioned something about the letter of introduction. Would I still need to provide that? And also, would it be a problem seeing as, my inflow and outflow is not as heavy as that of my dad, but I'm presenting both accounts for the POS? Did anybody get my question?
Yes, I mean, personally, I had your question. I don't know if somebody else wants to take that. Okay, nobody's responding. Okay.
What did she say? She said her father sold something, right? Is that what she said?
Yes, that's correct.
I don't exactly know what he sold. So let me just give an example. If your father sold a car or a land, you need to show proof that your father sold that land. You need to show, like, let me give you an example. Last year when I was applying, it's not really relevant, but my parents have like an apartment they rent out. So in order to prove to the embassy that, oh yes, I have this money and I have a steady inflow of this thing, I also had to present documentations of the tenants in the apartment, the receipts that was issued to them, and the agreement. So you need to connect the dots. So whatever agreements, change of deed, I don't really know how they, what's the whatever was sold. Change
Yes, it
of
was a property.
deeds.
So we're planning
If
to
it's a
present
property,
deed of
if it's a property, you need to show them that it was actually sold to a new owner and everything. So I think that's it.
Yes, but my question is, since the money is in my account, and my account doesn't have such a high inflow and outflow because I'm still a student, as my dad's, even though I'm presenting both my account and my dad's account, would I still also need to present a letter of introduction for mine? Because one of the speakers mentioned something about the letter of introduction.
Do you want to sponsor yourself or is your dad? Because
No, I want my dad to sponsor me.
And then you need to send the whatever was sold to him. He should be the one, I think, that should have the money, not you. I think I'm correct. Maybe Ayo should shed light on that.
Yes, so like it's not a rare case when people liquidate assets like in bulk money, right? The reason why most of the time when we make this kind of conversation, we just say it's safer for you to not have like bulk deposit. But in the case where your father is liquidating stuff or is selling stuff, right? Um, Maybe to fund that, it's possible. Somebody sells a land or sells a building or anything to fund an application process. Yes, it should be, since he's sponsoring you. So there are two things. If you are self-sponsored, if your application is stating that you are self-sponsored, then you can leave that, under your purview, right? You can leave that under your own application details. You can leave the money in your account, all of that. But if you are stating that your father is sponsoring you, then let it be in your father's account, right? So your letter of introduction has to, it's just, you can put the first foot forward by saying that, oh, I have this bulk amount, this is where this source of money is coming from. We liquidated this for this, it's enough to sustain. We liquidated it for the purpose of living expense for me for the next 2 years, and it's enough to sustain. Like that would spare them the problem, the trouble of calling you to confirm, because more times often than not, they'll always confirm for you to explain, a bulk deposit. I'm going to give an example. Personally, when when I made my application, I was trying to have a watertight application. So I used the salary account. I used an investment account that
This one will be a PhD student.
Okay. That looks like a sub. So I guess you have your answer. You didn't know your mic was on. Plus, yeah, I think
It's
I've
not,
answered the question.
I don't think he was.
Yeah, but you get the gist. So
Please, the host is about to leave and the meeting is going to close. So
Sorry,
please.
quick question, please. Quick question on this thing he was saying right now. I'm sorry, Ayo. You were saying that you presented 2 accounts, and were the both accounts in your name? Because I'm thinking of presenting both of daddy's accounts if I'm going to move the money to his account.
Yes, both of the accounts were in my name then. I mean, like, yes, both of the accounts were in my name. But in one of the accounts, I had a lump sum that I liquidated, and somebody from the consulate called to ask, we noticed an inconsistency in your account details. Where's this bulk sum coming from? And I gave watertight explanation. So yeah, they were both in my names.
Thank you so much. You've been most helpful. Thank you.
Please, before you go, the question I wanted to ask that time was that if we have a land, let's say my dad has a land now, can he just gift me the land, or we just liquidate it into money and then transfer it to my account and just show them proof that we sold the land and the money has been deposited to my accounts? Which of them is the best way to do it? Whether I just get the deed for the land and present it as part of my proof of fund, or we just liquidate it and turn it into cash. Thank you.
That's a technical one. But if you ask for the practicality, like what's easier for you to spend? You can't spend if you're in Italy and you want to pay rent, you can't spend land, right? You have to spend money. So if you ask me, if I'm in that situation and I have the option of saying, should I present the deed of the land or should I liquidate the land? I'll liquidate the land. I will liquidate the land while having the deed of the land as a supporting document to say that there is a bulk in my introduction letter. There is a bulk amount in my bank statement, but this bulk amount is coming from a liquidation I made from this land. This is deed of the land. It is here. Like that's just watertight. So yes, liquidate first. It's in your account. Your introduction explains the bulk amount, and it is reflective in your bank statement.
Okay, the deed of land should be in my name, right?
Yes. If should it be in your name? Are you self-sponsored? You don't need to answer. Are you self-sponsored or somebody is sponsoring you? If you're self-sponsored, yes, it can be in your name. If somebody is sponsoring you, then it's better it's in that person's name.
My uncle is sponsoring me, so we should transfer the land to him, something like that.
In whose name is the land originally? Like currently, whose name is land in?
The name is in my father's name currently.
But your uncle is the one that has the fund, the proof of funds.
Exactly.
Okay, so that means your uncle is your sponsor now. So and once you liquidate the money, it's going to be in your uncle's account. So the deed has to carry your uncle's name. That just provides a consistency in your documentation.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. We have to close now. So thanks so much to all the speakers and members of the organizing committee, and also to all the participants. So hopefully we'll meet in our dialing section, and finally we'll be able to welcome you to Italy come September and October. So I'll end the meeting now. Is that okay?
Sorry, Abib, I wanted to say something, which I don't know if someone said.
Amy, you want to say something again?
Emma Binu, don't be angry. Per favore. Another thing I wanted to say is that for the people that for the people that are going to depend on regional scholarship, I think it's also a useful tip for them, because some people are waiting for, I want to choose between Tusha and Salerno. I want to choose between this and this. It's high time they make up their mind, because I think for some regional scholarships, once you don't appear in September to claim it, it's gone. So I think that should also be reiterated. So if you don't arrive early or you're looking for cheap flights, they give you your visa in September or August and you want to come in December, you lose the regional scholarship.
And
So
of
that's
course,
just what I wanted
they
to say.
can get the family income documents they need for the 2 years. Those are coming for masters. So you don't have to worry about somebody getting the family income documents for you. You need in the second year. Just do the 2 and come with it. So that way it's easier.
Hello, good evening. Please, I have a question before you go. Hello.
Okay, please, can you be fast with your question, please?
Yes, I will. Okay, so I got this University of Calabria scholarship, and it's basically fully funded, but aside the travel expenses. So I want to confirm, is it possible for my aunt to send me like a particular amount for the flight expenses and all? And maybe I'll just maybe explain it in my letter of intent that this is like a support for my aunties towards my education advancement. Is that possible? I should just transfer the money to my account, explain it, or should she go ahead and just because we don't make money?
Yeah, I think whichever way is convenient for you. She can send the money to you, and then you submit some something to support that, right? Like she can write a letter to support your application, and you can also highlight that part of your bank statement or something. And you can write it in your letter that you highlighted that part where your aunt has sent in some money to support you. And then for your aunt, you can submit some documents to prove that she's your aunt. You can submit a work and business document, even though you are supporting yourself with your personal account. But whenever you have scholarship, since you already have a full scholarship, you don't have to worry. They just need to see some amount in your bank statement. I don't think they worry about where the money is coming from or not, right? So you don't really have to worry.
Is this Ayome Prosi? Is this Ayome Prosi from John?
I don't know. But thank you very much. Bless you.
Your network is working out, huh? So.
All right, Abib, you can just close the show. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Nice to meet you all. And hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thank you all. I really appreciate Abib, Abiola.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good night.
Yeah.